Okay, the very first main concept I have to have you guys know for fourth quarter is these congruent triangles. You have to know this. So when I'm showing you these, they're going to give you, remember these little marks on them? And they're going to have you look and see if the triangles are congruent or not. So if you're looking at them, you need to recognize that these two triangles right here have three sides that are equal. I need you to recognize the other main kind of sandwich ones where you have an angle. What's that?
I am looking for Eric.
Eric.
That's my name.
Or does he need to go right now or?
No, I don't.
Is the potato you copy?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'll bring it up. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And of course, one of the drawbacks of being live teaching is the constant.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes. Pain in the butt.
You moved it to the top.
Huh. It's just comical. All right. Can you hear me in Zoom land?
Yeah.
All right. If my Zoom connection keeps knocking out, I'm not going to open it back up. I'm going to focus on my people here because it's starting to be ridiculous. So if you are in Zoom and it cuts out and I don't start it back up, you need to look back on the class document and see what you missed because I'm not going to distract these people with me live with the Zoom stuff keep stopping and starting. So just be ready. Do you hear that out there in Zoom land? Do you hear me? All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. You guys all have that hand up? All right, guys got the hand up? You ready? Okay, let's get started. What I need you to do I need you to see when you're looking at these, which ones are congruent, which ones are not. I need you to focus on these big ones here, like this one. This is 3 equal sides. I need you to memorize that one. That one's the easiest one of all. That one, if I show you a triangle with those marks, that means it shares 3 equal sides. You would have to write this to get full credit to show me that, yeah, you see there's 3 equal sides. And if you see that there's 3 equal sides, that qualifies this one to say, hell yeah, it's congruent, which means you could either write the word congruent or you could put this symbol right there to represent congruency if you're lazy and don't want to write that word. But you guys, please with me, memorize that one. If I give you 2 triangles with 3 marks on the outside, automatic congruent, side, side, side. That one should be money. The other 2 money ones I want you guys to memorize are these 2 sandwich ones. And hopefully you can see, if you're looking at it, this one has a side, an angle, and another side. That's one of those pure sandwiches. Look at that. That's an angle sandwiched between 2 equal sides. Where if you look at the other clear sandwich underneath it, this one right here, this is not an angle sandwich between 2 sides like this bad boy. This one is a side sandwich between 2 equal angles. So the other ones are these sandwich ones, the SAS with an angle sandwich between 2 equal sides. That's what these marks mean. That proves these triangles are equal in every way. That proves all these angles are equal. That gives you the right to put that little that congruent symbol. And then the other sandwich one, the ASA one, that sandwich one right there. So memorize the 2 sandwich ones, and then this one right here. And then know for you guys, the only extra credit I give is asking questions. That's the only do. So if you have questions, ask me. I'll throw you extra credit. At some point, if I help you, I'll give you extra credit. If you're super smart, like Eric and his family, and stuff I'm showing you might not, have questions for you, make up a question. And you'll still get extra credit. Because one day you'll be looking back and saying, man, I wish I played Mr. Marshall's extra credit. Because your grade probably. But whatever. And then you'll get to hear me say this a lot too. That's the sound of extra credit passing by. Did you hear this? Never get it back. All right, the other one. Here's where it starts to get tough, you guys, because most people who pay attention to me and pass my class, they recognize the two sandwich ones, because it's pretty easy to see something sandwiched between something else. And this triple S, these are where it gets tougher. This one right here, this one where you have two angles right in a row. There's nothing between them. I didn't put a little mark right here. Hell no, I didn't put a mark right there. There's nothing between them. That means these are two angles right in a row with a side. So this is that trippy double A S1. That is congruent. Two angles in a row with nothing between them and a side, congruent. You can put that symbol or write congruent. This, for those of you listening, is not ASA. If I wanted this to be ASA, I would have put the mark right here. Then that would have been a sandwich ASA, but I didn't put it there. So it's not ASA. It's described AA with an S. Congruent. I'll stop right there. That's where it starts to get tricky. Because the other double that has two things in a row is the bad one over here, the ass one with two sides in a row without anything between them and an angle. This is the ass one. This is the bad one. An angle with two sides in a row, ass. This is the only one out of all of these that's neither congruent or similar, which is coming. All right. So again, memorize those. The easy one.
So anything besides ass is congruent?
Yep. Oh, that's this one right here. I kind of jumped the gun there, Eric. For the other one that's not really congruent is this guy right here. This is the AAA one. If you have two triangles with all equal angles, as you can see, I took one, I duplicated it and stretched it out. It makes like a big daddy triangle and a little baby triangle. They're not congruent. They're similar. See how they're similar? But they're not congruent. So triple angles just proves that they're similar, that they have the same shape, but one is bigger or smaller than the other. Similar. If you said those are congruent, you would get marked off. And now here's a huge, huge concept. If you have two triangles that are congruent, damn straight they're similar. See how these are similar? But if you have two triangles that are similar, they're not always congruent. That's super high-tech concept. Does that make sense? Similar, but not congruent. Congruent and similar. Anything congruent, always similar. But anything similar, unless you click this corner and drag it perfect, is not always congruent. Yes, question. Jacob got a question.
Well, I was going to ask you to excuse the...
What's that?
I was going to ask you to excuse...
I was getting so excited I thought someone was asking a question. All right. The other one is this right triangle one. This is the kind of oddball one out. If you have a right triangle, if some teacher has taught you that this little symbol right here represents 90-degree angle, then all it takes is a couple legs to make it be congruent. Most of the time you'll see online, they call this HL, because if you have a right triangle, the hypotenuse, which is this side right across from the right angle, the longest side, most people describe these right triangles as if you have a hypotenuse and a leg, they're congruent. But my top-notch students realize it doesn't just have to be for a right triangle, the hypotenuse and the leg. It could be any two legs. So technically, you could really call this LL if you want to. If you have a right triangle with a right angle and any two legs are equal, congruent. These are the ones I have to have you know fourth quarter. The SSS one, pure S's. the sandwich ones, the double AS, that people, no matter what, they think this is ASA. Nope, that's AAS. Nothing between them. The hypotenuse leg, the similar one, and then the ass bath one. Look at that. I mean, this is the same length, but this is the same angle. You gotta be on drugs if you're thinking these are congruent. They're not. They're not congruent or similar. Questions for me? Yes, sir.
The triangles, the 90-degree ones, can they be round? You know how it's a little square box?
This David?
Yeah.
What's that?
You know how that one has a little square box? Can they be round instead of square or no?
If I wrote it like this,
Yeah.
then that would have made it not a hypotenuse leg. It still would have been congruent. Do you recognize what that would have been if that would have been an angle right there, that little sandwich look?
Triangle.
But what would I have called this to prove it's congruent if I had a side, an angle, and a side, that kind of sandwich? What would I call that? Do you remember these labels? What is the sandwich one?
SA.
100%. That would have took these triangles out of the right triangle category and just made it like a regular angle. Then it would have just been a normal one of these. We're going to clear a sandwich, an angle, sandwich between two sides. Some people by mistake, they look at these and they describe it like this. They're like S, an S, and an A, and they're like SSA, and I'm like wrong, and they wonder why. Because these sandwich ones have to be described like a sandwich. They're just real anal about that.
Another question.
Yes, sir.
How would you know what letter goes first?
You know what? That's a real good question. What do you mean? Oh, in terms of what do you mean?
SAA, like the SAS. What?
Like this one?
Yeah. Like what would go first?
Well, most people, they'll write the two A's first with the S. If you wrote this like this, I don't know if that's what you're asking. I would still give you full credit if you wrote it like that, because that shows a side with two angles in a row. That's just the thing that we're looking for you to describe it. Kind of like these two sandwich ones, Eric. They're described specifically in that sandwich pattern, where the double angle one, we describe that either way you write it. As long as you have those A's showing me right next to each other, that's what we want you to see, whether in that order or that order. Where this bad one too, most people, they don't like the word ass because they think it offends people. They write it like this. But that's the same thing. And this shows two consecutive sides in a row. That shows badness right there. So that's kind of like how they do the order. It's not like the order left to right or right to left doesn't matter. It's the positions of how you describe the pieces that really matter. Good question, Eric. Okay. What I'm going to do is give you this. I'm going to give you a non-graded super quick quiz. I'm going to use this to pair you up with someone in here who you could help or who could help you. Of course, whoever's helping my teammates, I'm going to throw them some extra credit. Try these problems right here. Don't worry about your grade. You're getting full credit for being here. Just give it a try. I'm going to stop this video right here. For all my classes, what we're doing now, since that was the notes part, we just took notes.
You ended your Zoom.
I know, but I'm still recording. We took our notes. I have both handouts for the notes on there on the major class document. They are now taking this pairing quiz. And then, of course, there's a little bit of work to do at the end. So that's an example of all the work that will be there for you to see. Sorry that the Zoom connection was not working.